Do you think the tech has driven this revolution, or do you think the revolution was looking for tech to support it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Back when the big catalyst, honestly, that I saw, I mean, it was a funny story. The BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, back in March 2019, was clear that there was no case for a central bank digital currency or commercial bank digital money. In July, just a few months later, the tone turned to, oh crap, I think there definitely is, and we should start looking at this seriously. And the catalyst there was Facebook Libra, where
Right.
all of a sudden, Facebook, big tech getting into money and creating, a form of value that could be used in real time globally across 1 billion people, the largest economy, virtual economy out there, right? Or
Mm.
community, sorry. I mean, that's a massive threat because all of a sudden you're like, shit, if Richard and Ricardo are using an alternative form of money, I can't enact any monetary policy. I can't enact stability. And so all the things that I've been set up to do as a central bank are irrelevant, redundant. If that's the case, do we need you, Mr. Central Banker? Mr. Central Banker. And so those things become quite threatening. So,
Mm.
the tide, I think, changed from, yes, maybe technology, certainly in big tech coming in, but really the threat of new forms of money, be it on blockchain or other, that can really, I suppose the perception of instability, right, into the economy. And so, you can take that as it's kind of laid out. My sense is there certainly is an opportunity for reform,
Yeah.
right? New technology, not just blockchain, AI, others, quantum, should enable us to rethink how we've laid all this piping, all this infrastructure, all these processes, which are inefficient, right?
Yep.
And so, great opportunity.
Yeah. See, as somebody who's outside to this world, my hope is that the reason why the big financial institutions don't appear to be on digital currencies from the outside is because they're taking the time, and that they're looking at policy, they're looking at how they can enforce structure, to prevent things that we do see in the digital markets. From the work that you're doing, are you seeing that kind of cautious thinking, or is
Oh,
it
God.
is it that maybe the big financial institutions are just slow to adopt this?
No, no. I mean, certainly, the question we ask ourselves is, do we honestly, first of all, is the world becoming more or less digital? I think that's an easy answer. And then if we go, okay, well, if we believe it's becoming more digital, do we believe that there is a new opportunity, an opportunity to deploy kind of a new form of money, right? Regulated money, institutional regulated money that is safe, but has kind of next generation properties as we're seeing in the crypto space. Like, do we believe that fiat money and central bank money will become more digital? And the answer there is yes, absolutely, we do. And these are central banks; they move very, very, very slowly. The work that we've been doing is 7 years old. We've been working with the central banks for 7 years. And the first question was, what is this technology? And then you spend 3, 4 years saying, but it's not Bitcoin, it's not Mt. Gox, it's none of that stuff, guys. And so we're way past that now, right? We're way past the does the technology say what it says on the box? Now I suppose the critical path for us now is what is the monetary policy impact on introducing central bank digital currencies on blockchain, right?
Mm.
What is the economic impact of doing that? And so we've moved away from the tech, where it's like the tech will do what it says it's going to do. Let's just understand the impact of these things.
Yeah.
And so, statistics over 140 central banks around the world are actively working on central bank digital currencies. So 89% of them. So 180 countries around the world. You can count 190 depending on how you cut up the boundaries. But let's just say there's 180 countries. There's 89% of them are actively working on central bank digital currencies. If the central bank is working on new forms of money, the commercial banks need to be thinking about that as well,
Yeah.
right? So of of the 89 central banks out there in 89 countries, all those commercial banks are looking at, well, what is the impact of the introduction of the central bank digital currency? And it's positive and negative. And there's been a lot of tension there for a while, right? Because the first thing the commercial bank thinks is, well, crap, if you introduce a central bank digital currency and you distribute that directly to Richard, well, then he'll take his money out of my deposit account and he'll put it into this new form of money, which is smart. It's great. Oh, you can tell the money what to do. Like, hey, listen, at 12 o'clock, if this condition is true, pay that guy. And the money just does whatever you tell it to do. It's super cool. So then you've got this real big threat of credit allocation and deposit reduction, right, on the commercial bank side. And so, lots of kind of back and forth and trying to find the right models. And today I'd say to you that we've kind of landed on the model that everyone is pretty pleased about, two intermediate model. What does that mean? It means that the central bank issues a central form of money and the commercial banks distribute that form of money, either directly, but being able to create smart contracts and programmable money around it under certain conditions, or by reissuing that form of money as a tokenized deposit, which itself carries smarts and a whole bunch of cool stuff. So no one is disintermediated in this new world, right? So that's been the tension, but it's taken us a long time to move the entire, and it's not just then, it's kind of the whole world kind of view, if you like, as to what does the new form of money look like and how should we deploy it?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. You can see why that takes a while.
It takes a while, man, and it's still going to take a while. I'd say to you that today, who's leading? It's like a marathon. The first folks that took off APAC was running really hot, right? So Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, Australia, Australasia, super fast on the get-go. And then, 2-3 years in, start to lose a bit of steam, and then you see other parts come in, like the Europeans, the ECBs, and the Bank of England's been slow by design, but others coming in. The LATAM region really picking up recently with Brazil starting to lead. But the hottest region, and excuse the pun today, is the Middle East, right? Not landing everything that's going on in the Middle East. It's not the focus of this discussion. But in terms of, the United Arab Emirates really embarking on this innovation agenda, right? 2030, digital economy, moving away from the old petrodollars and moving into kind of a world where it's like the Silicon Valley of the world, right? So this is what they're building: digital identity, open banking, faster payments, digital currencies, like the whole whack. You've seen obviously the line or Neon. Have you seen this kind of smart city that's been carved out in the middle of the desert? It's 50 kilometers.
Yeah.
That is a full digital freaking city. Now, I've worked on 4 smart cities. I mean, if anyone's going to get it up, it's going to be the Saudis. So, they have the appetite and they have kind of the wherewithal to do it. And so, for us today, it's a tremendous amount of activity going on in the Middle East around digital currencies. And that's going to spur the MENA region, and it's going to spur kind of more of the African region, and then bleeding into kind of the Europeans as well.
Wow. Okay. It's really interesting you said about the Bank of England. I was on a project maybe 18 months ago, and we were just trying to find out how to be able to do digital finances in the UK. And every avenue that we went down just kept saying, set up a business in the British Virgin Islands. and that was it, So yeah, definitely very slow.
Yeah, I mean, Sir John Cunliffe, that's been kind of head of, I think it's the PCMI, if I'm not mistaken. But out of the Bank of England, the deputy governor there, super eloquent guy, super smart guy, digital pound, and that's going to probably be in the second half of this decade. But certainly there is now a tone from the central bank of the UK saying, actually, there probably is a real good reason right? Whereas we've struggled a little bit looking for the actual business case on retail. On the
Yeah.
wholesale side, it's very obvious. On the retail side, less so, but becoming more and more clear as to why the retail central bank kind of money makes sense. So the the Bank of England, I know that the Fed is back and forth. Of course, the US is a whole different ballgame. You'd argue that there's some weaponization of CBDC, kind of, the last frontier of privacy for humanity. If we release a central bank digital currency because of surveillance and all this other stuff, I don't know. I mean, I'd ask you this question. In the last week, how many cash payments have you made?
And I could probably cover this year with, one hand. I would have thought something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you'd say less than 5%, 2%. I haven't made any cash transactions. I try not to make any at all.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if 2% this year, 98% of all your payments are visible.
Yeah.
Only that 2% cash where you went and paid someone for whatever you did, I've known you for a long time, Richard. You don't come across as a nefarious actor to me, so I'm not sure.
Not usually, no. Fairly squeaky clean.
So, you're weaponizing what? Like, wow, 2% of those, the remaining 2% is going to be visible by someone. The model that the Bank of England is deploying is an alias-based model, meaning they will never know who holds that currency. Only the commercial bank will know, and they know today. So, That said, though, privacy and anonymity are extremely important to build into these new forms of money. Yeah. In order to uphold the notion of freedom and the values of the country, right, that you're kind of deploying to the UK, the US, Australia, kind of the West, if you like.